Woohoo! Hey, welcome everybody. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get into it. And this is pretty much a community chat, new section, of course. Not going to be on every night, but we're going to be looking at the price of Hex, price of Hedron, and other prices. So it's going to be pretty cool from that point of view. So get into the chat, folks, and let us know what your thoughts are, whether you're buying, what your price thoughts are, all that good stuff at the moment. So we've got a couple of topics. Obviously, we're just going to be looking at the Hex chart like we did yesterday, the Hedron. And the key thing at the moment, of course, these are doing some interesting things at the moment. Of course, Hex getting good news about Pulsechain 2.5. And, of course, we're also getting, a turning point, a breakout in the Hex, in the Hedron chart. So we're going to be talking about that too. So if you like talking about prices, if you're looking at picking up some stuff, this is the one for you. Get into the chat, folks. It's going to be really, really cool. So nice. Let me just make sure the audio is up and running. Sounds pretty good to me. All right, let's set up the chart there. Very, very good. So we're going to watch this at the moment. And, of course, we're also not going to talk about the price. We're going to have a few breaks during the price talk, and we're going to talk about the one DeFi strategy, which is kind of like the ultimate in DeFi, which is coming up. So all these projects, Pulsechain, Pulsex, liquid loans, all this good stuff, how it's going to work together, and it's going to create an incredible amount of wealth for everybody that's involved. If you use the strategies correctly, you'll really be able to max out all the opportunities. So it's going to be pretty cool. So let's get in the chat there. Hey, we've got How I Made It. Wow, late stream from Kelly. Hey, nice one there, How I Made It. And yes, a late one. It is coming in the price because we've got pretty cool things happening. Obviously, with Richard Hart coming out, with the fact that V2B or 2.5 is coming out in a couple of days, with Pulsex working, AMM bot running on Uniswap version 2 and SushiSwap and sacrifice balances. That's really, really positive. We're seeing the Hex price here suddenly go from a red candle to a green candle on the daily. So a red candle that was actually thickening up, testing at 10 cents back up to the top of the they're now in green. Very, very cool. The other thing that we've got, of course, is we've got the breakout of Hedron breaking the downstream channel, bounced off the 61.8 and is up and away there. So that's pretty exciting to see that play out. And, of course, has followed the path pretty well there at the moment, and of course is now breaking out 4,300. So many of you that were all watching this price chat yesterday were buying down here around the 3,200 mark, and had made some really nice little mad gains there. So we're going to talk a bit more about that too. How I Made It says thanks and appreciate these streams and updating us. It's a pleasure. And of course, get into the chat, folks. This is really a community chat as opposed to me talking a lot of stuff. So if you've got any questions, if you're going to be buying anything, you're looking for a trigger, maybe you've bought some and you've made some really good returns, let us know. Since yesterday, particularly if you're watching the stream yesterday, you would have picked up some pretty mad gains. We pretty much timed this to have mapped this chart out pretty well. I would give myself a 9 out of 10 for managing this price movement. So it's been pretty good. And of course, we're trying to get into uncertain territory now. And of course, finding the shape here. But so far, so good. Yeah, next target is kind of around 5,000 for Hedron. So we'll see how we get on there. It might go straight up vertically. It might not follow this path. But of course, this path's based on getting higher lows. It's kind of trying to be conservative there. And so trying to get higher lows in there and moving up. So let's see how we go. So far, so good, though. It's been following this curve pretty well. Now, very nice there. Obviously, we bounced off 3,100. So up at 4,300 already. Nice gains, man. Mad gains. And that's in a short space of time. So, we're down from the bottom here. And we go up to where we're up to now. We go up to there. That's 40% returns in less than a day, 23 hours, 40% returns. That's pretty awesome, right? So nice mad gains there. And I have a feeling this is going to go up quite a bit in the next wee while. So it's going to be a lot of fun. How I Made It says, did you sack for PC and IM? I've sacrificed for IM. I haven't sacrificed for PC yet. I have to make a decision in a short space of time before it goes to 1.75. So I am running out of time. So I'll have to think about that. What day is it? Live stream now. Brazology says, this is a double live stream. Brazology, we're doing it on just price chart. And we're not focused on a lot of other stuff. We're just doing the price charts, really community chat, just to hang out, talk about price, watch the price chart. We're at a pretty pivotal moment at the moment with the price breaking out of this channel. So it was a pretty good time to talk about it. So very, very nice. Hey, look, this is looking good, man. Yesterday, I was covering the price charts when good things were happening, and today I'm covering the price charts when good things are happening. Look at this. It's gone from red to green, folks. We were down at 10.1 cents. We're now up at 10.9. This is so positive, and really, really was cool to get this news out. This has done a bit better than I expected in terms of moving the momentum. So that's always a positive surprise. As I said, let's hope we can get up. We can get up over 12 cents again. That'd be pretty positive, right? 12.5, somewhere like that. Would be pretty nice. At the moment, the middle of the Bollinger Bands is at 12.5 cents. That red line there would be pretty cool if we get to that. That'd be nice. Well, Brazil's got the emojis in the house. Very, very cool. That's my favorite emoji. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, the woohoos. Yeah, woohoo. I love that too. That's my favorite one too. So woot woot says M2K. Good to see you in the out there. And yeah, saw the price pumping right now. Yeah, it's a pretty pivotal time. So yesterday we did a live stream. It was a little bit later than when we started now. I think I started about 9 or so. It's 8:20 p.m. here in the evening. And of course, man, oh man, it's just pretty pivotal. It's very positive, of course. Many of the people out there who are getting a little bit uncomfortable with the price being around 10 cents. This is a good reprieve, at least recovery. Let's hope we can hold on to it. Brazil says it's 12:30 a.m. here in California. Was about to head to bed, and then bam, Hex Token live stream. Hey, that's funny, Brazil. Nice one. Let's bow down to the Californians. We got How I Made It and Brazil in California there. Nice. All right, so very, very cool. So we've got the Hedron here breaking out. Look at that. It's a nice breakout of this downtrend. Woohoo! That's positive, man. And hey, we called that. We were actually watching the chart yesterday around about here, and when it broke down, I saw it breaking down, so I went live, and now I've gone live again. We're on the other side. Isn't that cool? And of course, we watched it bottom out here. This was the smiley face where it was going to hit, and then bounce off. So it's played out pretty much a good playbook there as well. So pretty positive. Man, it's still, you know what it's like when it starts going, so we're definitely going to have to add some structure into that at the moment. So let's do a bit of that while we're live. Let's do a bit of that structure. We're going to have to add another line now. So we're going to have to add another line here. Let me just get good details. We're going to take it to 5,000 because that's where I think it's going to head towards. Take up to 5,000 there. Let's get that in good. Let's go up to there. Make sure that's about right there. I think that's pretty good for the moment. And of course, let's make that an orange line. And we'll probably make that a bit thinner there. How thin I got that on? Yeah. So I think that's pretty good. Let's zoom up on that. And just make sure that's fairly accurate. The 5,000. Yeah, that's pretty good. Woohoo! So there we are, live charting, folks. It's pretty good. And so far, we're actually following the green line pretty well. A little bit higher, but hey, it could actually just break it and keep going up in a couple hour candles rather than pull back down here. It pulls back typically when some people are selling, and so the sellers will be bigger than the buyers, and that's why you get this pullback. But what we want is a higher low, right, to get the structure. Once we break out of this, let me just scroll that. Once we break out of this downtrend, we've got to find new structure, right, to be able to make some good guesstimations or probability. So that's kind of what we're doing here. We've got this momentum in here. Obviously, at the moment, it's vertical. So what you could do here and is to get a sense of what's going on is pull up this vertical line here and set that up to, we won't take it too high. We'll take it to 5,000. And let's just make sure it's fairly accurately drawn. Yeah, that's pretty accurately drawn. So if it starts breaking down below there, you know that the structure's starting to play down. If it breaks down below this structure, then you know it's going to go down, right? The chances are the probability goes like 80% and it's going to break down unless some sort of big whale comes in. So there we are, looking good. Let's see how we go, folks. Pretty fun. Let's pull that in a bit there. I'm just trying to get the right scale for you guys to be able to see it. Mucking around there. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's finish there. That looks a pretty good place. All right, we got a couple comments as well. Apologize for failing you with my price prediction of all-time highs by the beginning of the month. Hey, Brazil, that's okay. You know, we don't know when it's coming out, all Pulsechain and that, right? We're just we take the information that Richard gives us and we try to make a best guesstimate there. I bought a nice bag of Hex at 10.3 cents. Nice one, Brazology. Francina's in the house. Hello, Francina. AK says live again. Woo-hoo-hoo. Hey, okay, we're here. We're going to be living and breathing Pulsechain for the next couple of years. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Welcome to it. So this is actually a different section. This is not talking about all the what's happening in the ecosystem. The heart ecosystem, the Pulsechain ecosystem is really just about the price of Hex and Hedron. The fact that I'm just going to go live probably when there's a pivotal turning point. So I won't be live every time at this time. But yesterday it was pretty pivotal. We had a perfect call. Today has been a perfect call. So we're on here. If that's a really bad call, I won't be doing a live stream on it. Let's say that much. But at the moment, it's going pretty well. We're doing probably a 9 out of 10 call since the beginning of the Hedron price. So we're doing pretty well. But here we are. We've got this here. It's kind of our support line now, really vertical. So we've got increasing FOMO happening here. I think also Richard Hart's announcement here is also not only is it benefiting Hex turning our red candle into a green candle, it's also helping with the Hedron FOMO, which was already on the move anyway, but certainly helped us probably instead of going along here, along this line, it may get us a nice vertical, this more vertical line here. So pretty interesting. Okay, says FYI, I was in Twitter Spaces with Rackham, and he said he was pumping Hex post launch. He said he's going to allocate 100 million for Hex and also roll the PLX gains back into Hex. Seller's going to cry. Hey, that's fantastic insight there, AK. Yeah, that's real magic. So let's read that one more time with Rackham. And he said he will be pumping Hex post. He will be pumping Hex post launch. I suspected that was going to happen, so that's cool. He said he's going to allocate 100 million for Hex and also roll the PLX gains back into Hex. That's what, AK, I was having that thought after the live stream today. And I also felt that not only will Rackham do that, I have a feeling, obviously no work expectation of others, just my conjecture here, but that Richard is going to do that too. I have a feeling that we talk about Pulse and Pulsex, but I have a feeling that a lot of that will end up flowing into Hex as well. So I think Hex is still going to be kind of the golden child, as it is, it will, in the sense that it's going to break, all time, like be the best chart of all time. Does that make sense? And I think that Pulsechain and Pulsex will help to do that. So that was my conjecture too. There, AK, really good insights. Thanks for posting that. That's perfect stuff. So get in the chat, folks, if you have heard good stuff like that. Obviously, we do know that Rackham had a live stream. I haven't actually heard it myself originally in there. So it's always good to check the sources, but we do appreciate AK giving that insight, which someone else was making earlier in another live stream, but not those that particular statement that AK's made. Nice. Just bought more Hex HODL. Nice one. That's very, very cool. Yeah, so look at Hex is about to cross 11 cents here. Let's move Hex to the 1 hourly. Look at that on the Hex chart. Nice. Let's paste a little bit of structure here too. I've got so much structure on the Hex chart that it's getting a little busy, but we'll paste that and we might make that a bit thinner there. So let's see where we're going on that. That's probably about right. So we'll watch that chart. It's pretty steep at the moment. It's actually pretty steeper than that. So let's take that one up there. There we are, looking nice and steep. All right, cool. And let's scroll that up. So that's really good insight there from AK and from our biggest whale, of course. Let's go have a look over at Rack and Rochelle. He's been actually really vocal lately. One of our very biggest whales, possibly the biggest, but certainly up there in the top three, probably maybe top four. Because sometimes the big whales don't always talk. And so Rack and Rochelle, obviously his goal is to become, I think it's the biggest VC capital in the world, if not one of the biggest. And of course, a Pulsechain is going to be his avenue to do that. So, and obviously the Hex holdings he's got are pretty huge. So pretty fascinating. Now, I thought this was pretty cool. This was 2 hours ago. Yes, the owner, Overwatch Partners contract. So yes, the owner of Aave and Co. is now a Pulsechain. So, these people are onboarding other wealthy people and are pretty cool. So this person owns this expensive high-end watch store here, which is, pretty cool watches. It's really, you can see more and more people coming into the space. Pretty cool, man. Nice. Hey, we've got breakouts on both charts. So, and not breakouts. We've got Hex is moving up, but Hedron's actually on a breakout. So that's quite different. Hex is just moving up. And like I say, if we can get back up to 12.5 cents, that'd be very, very cool to see that. But definitely Hedron is on a breakout above the downtrend. That was the resistance here. Resistance was at I had it 4,200. We've crossed over 4,200. We're now at 43.77, so it's looking really good. How I Made It says, damn, Rackham really gonna put in some work for us, absolutely. And it's not just himself, it's obviously a lot of people he knows that are wealthy, and of course he's pulling them in. And this is a good example of someone that he knows here, an Overwatch Partners contact that he's onboarded. See what I mean? So these guys, once they, if one big person, they know hundreds of people that are typically wealthy often after in this big financial network, at least probably dozens for sure. And they quickly spread the word on there. And so that's pretty neat. Brazil says, game theory, what if he is saying that so people get in and give him liquidity to get out, but I'm holding hope he is telling the truth. So Brazil, he's done pretty well by Hex, and I think that he really is looking to make Pulsechain extremely valuable, and Hex as well. So I do think he's a long game player, and he's actually going to help move the price up, just like the Hex Gold Whale did back in April, May of 2020. So I definitely think that that's going to be pretty good. Obviously, he's going to have to look at some points to take some profits, but I think ultimately he's going to try and increase that value there. He can also do a derivative play too, so he could have to get involved with other stuff that maybe get built on there. He did say he's not going to get into the sacrifices that were on Pulsechain, like the ones with, I guess, liquid loans and stuff. I don't think he's gone on liquid loans. He may have. It would make sense if he's going to borrow off liquid loans, because if you're holding loan tokens, you can offset the fee on liquid loans. So he may have done that. So yeah, it's interesting games. But like I said, I was just thinking earlier today, before AK posted that comment, was that maybe even Pulse and PulseX all end up funneling into Hex, and that because I kind of feel like Richard's vision is kind of that is going to be the ultimate chart of all time, and not just crypto domination, but to actually have the best project chart of all time. It's going to be fascinating to see that play out. Obviously, we've got a few things on the centralized exchange front. We've got CZ. We've got all these investment trusts coming in to pump big money in to make Hex. Hex is also, I keep saying Hex is quite scarce, but man, it's going to be super scarce in the future. We just got to buy the time. You know how quickly these prices can move up once scarcity comes in. And of course, we know we've got OGs and that sell and stuff like that, but if they're selling out at this price, it could be goodbye, right? Goodbye, pork pie. By the time we get up to $1.30, $2.30, $7 is what the crypto Sparbook guys want. And what happens if we, eventually, just like Bitcoin, we get into $10 and hundreds of dollars a Hex? Because it becomes scarce, it becomes much more distributed. Bigger parties hold blocks that they're not really selling. Stuff like that. Hey, we just had a breakthrough. Hex is now 11 cents. Well done. Awesome stuff. This is real positive for the price. 11 cents. Nice. And of course, Hedron here is sitting at 4,300. So looking good at this stage. Looking good. So this is interesting because if you had sold your Hex out into Hedron, you're probably up relatively, but of course the Hex price is moving up. So if you thought you were going to switch back into Hex and the Hex price keeps moving up, you could end up being out of position in Hex. You've got your Hedron, which is cool, but you could be out of position with your Hex. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. So in the short term, you're probably still winning on the Hedron, but especially if you got in at the bottom here yesterday when we were doing the live stream. But you're up 40%, right? Whereas on Hex here, if you'd bought it down at the bottom here of 10.1. You're currently up 9%, so 9% versus 40%. So you're still up 4x if you bought the bottom of Hedron at the moment. Let's have a look here. Vin says, never know. That's right. Brazilzi says he would effectively be distributing wealth to the people who got in before him, philanthropic. Would he? Well, a lot of the people that got in before him are staked out a long time, right? They are staked out. Average 6.33 years. The other thing is that those who have the longer than 6.33 years are going to have a huge windfall in the Hex payouts per T-share as those T-shares fall out. So if you've got it playing the long game, you win easy, right? Especially if you're doing the 15-year game. A 15-year game smashes the 10-year game, right? Because There's so far less T-shares at the last 5 years. Of course, we're now into a year. If you think it from the day one of Hex, we're now 17.4 years in now. 17.4, not 15. We're 17.4 years in now. So the stakes that are, if we pretend that we start on the first, they're out 17.4 years. Quite mad. And another was it 2.6 years? We'll have 20 years. 20 years out from the start of Hex. We'll have Hex stakes out 20 years. And it's quite mad, right? It's quite mad thinking about that. So definitely is. With that said, of course, Brazil, I do agree with you. There are large liquid holders. I don't know. Three Arrows used to have a big liquid wallet. I haven't followed the one wallet that I'm a bit out of touch on, so I need to actually do a bit of homework on that. Let me know if you know Brazil, because I know you watch a lot of stuff. So let me know if you've know what's happened with the Three Arrows wallet or wallets, because they were one of the big liquid holders. So I thought they had actually exited quite a bit, but I am still a bit foggy in that, so I don't want to make too many comments. Anyone else, if you know anything about the Three Arrows whale, let us know. Of course, Overwatch stands back from those guys. I think he's far more into the long game, like the ex Godwell is. He's much more long-term player, because that's how you make real big value, is the long-term, right? And these guys are so rich they can play the long-term. As the short guys, the lower income guys, the small guys, the guppies and little fishes that like to play the short game, and because the 2-3x means a lot to them, right? And maybe they've got to pay some bills or something, whatever. But that's kind of them. They play the short game. AK says he said he's a VC, a venture capitalist, and he's not going to sell whatsoever. Yeah, that's what I mean. He's kind of playing the long-term value game, and of course you can get thousands of X by playing that game. And of course, if you actually help the ecosystem, you're not selling down on yourself, and you're also getting other people onto it, and of course adding other businesses, other value added onto the network. Because Pulsechain is a big network. Hex, of course, is the ultimate product. You just need to get Hex to a point where you have constantly that buy pressure, and of course it gets more scarce and more dispersed. So I think they're all working on those goals. So that's pretty neat. And he's not going to sell whatsoever. He said, my address. You can check on the blockchain. Also, he said he's heavily invested into the community, and he and his whales protect it. So, what I mean, he's got other whales, other people that he's associated to, and he'll be keep growing that. He'll be keep spreading the word. Hey, look, get onto this before Pulsechain launches. You'll make millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions probably in some cases, depending on. Although getting position these days is going to be pretty hard, right? Because the sacrifice has already happened. So maybe they'll do some OTCs to some of his mates. OTC is some at a higher price, maybe something like that. It could happen. That's another way for them to exit, right? The big whale is to get other big whales to buy in part of their position, so they make the chain more valuable. Then they sell part of the position out OTC. So that's definitely open up to the whales. So not something for the retail, but definitely for the whales. Someone said someone or group of people have been wrecking the price lately. Well, we have had a few. We had that one whale that had, whale. It's kind of a Hex whale, not really a venture capitalist, not one of the big ones. These are kind of money made through Hex. Got more. He had 120 million Hex. He sold it down to 50 million. I think he's been selling a bit more. But once he's out, right? He's not getting a copy on the Pulsechain. Obviously, he's pulled out, a few $1 million, but he's gone after that. Cool. Let's have a look here. So how I made it says it's the hacker. He still has 50 million USD of X that he's dumping. Is it 50 million? Is it that high? I don't think it was that high. You mean 50 million X? You're talking about X was it X91, X83? Can't remember now. AK says Aracam also said he sacrificed 100,000 as a sponsored deal and give those coins to high net worth influencers they promote. Yeah, I saw that. That was a little while ago, like about a week ago. It wasn't also maybe 2 weeks ago. Yeah, that was a really good idea. Of course, big influence is going to bring on that virality. Davis is in the house. Yo, hey, good to see you, Davis. How I made it says, wish the drama with Jim and Rackham would all just go away. No time for this nonsense. Yeah, that's why we don't talk about that stuff on here. This is not a drama entertainment channel. This is just about the hardcore. We're all about the journey and the end game. That's kind of the way we're on this channel. AK says also about dumping question. Rackham said he's a 1 or 2 digit billionaire. Exit money is not really what he's looking for. He's here for glory and building. Yeah, and I agree with that. That's where I think that they are. And like I said, they've got other ways of exiting, like over the counter. They bring in new whales and they sell a bit of the position, say, hey, look, this is what's going to happen to this chain. This is what we're doing on it. And of course, you can compare it to Ethereum. And then, of course, you see what I mean? A real benefit. And of course, we've got Hex too. Hex is getting really scarce. This is what we're doing. I got this much of it. You can take a position, that sort of thing. So there's definitely many ways of doing that for sure. Two-digit billionaire is richer than Bruce Wayne, says how I'm in it. Yeah. Hey, Andrew says, welcome back, sir. Good to be back there, Andrew. Good to see you in the chat. And Brazology says, I'm agreed about the drama. Wish it could go away, says Brazology. Yeah. So I do know that there are a couple of channels that kind of like the drama. They focus on the drama. I'm in two minds on that. And one way I think, maybe it attracts certain people that like that sort of things, but like TV. But then also maybe it's a negative for most people. I kind of think it's like probably negative for most people, but for maybe some of the younger people, maybe they like the drama and they think it's cool. Oh, this is action. We got heaps of like watching those TV soaps or whatever. Who knows? But of course, it's probably not the best coming from some of our bigger, our whales and our influencers, as it were. As I always call Funding Jim the billionaire liaison. But obviously he's working in a different area from Overwatch from the sounds of it. Hex 19, yeah, that's what I was talking about, Davis. So I didn't actually think he had that much Hex left out of that Hex. So I'll have to double check that too. Dingo Wolf says, is the surf Kira Beach, Queensland? Kira Beach? No, I don't know. I'm not in Australia, so I'm in New Zealand. So I'm not sure about that. Let me know what you mean by that, Dingo Wolf. I met Hex 19. What a great guy. Hex 19 is an awesome guy. And of course, he has benefited from Hedron big time. Being able to mint those before, I guess, the hacker has, and then move them to a wallet. I'm so glad about that. And, of course, that's worth a couple $1 million now. Sure, if Hedron, has a nice profile over the future, that could be worth a lot of money, which is really cool. Isn't that a nice little comeback? And thanks to Alex for making Hedron and making things like that happen. I'm sure that Hex 19 is after such a horrible thing happening to him, that's a wonderful thing to have, to get him back on track. So I'm very happy for Hex 19 for that. And we still don't know his exact age. I think he's 91. Some people, I thought he was 78 at first. Someone said 79. Then other people said 91. So I'm pretty sure he's up there. But he's a pretty cool guy. And, of course, he was on the Expo in Las Vegas, and he was very good talking there. It was really nice to see him on there. So nice. AK says overall, Rackham was super bullish and looked really committed to push us into virality with time. It was good to hear. Yeah. So, I mean, if Ethereum is worth so much, let's actually pull up Ethereum as we go. But we've got Hedron at the moment at 4,400 and we've got Hex at 11 cents, folks. If you guys were upset before, I know some of you, this doesn't matter what the price is, but you'll be pretty happy with now. This is a really nice little move for both of them. And, of course, this news, of course, about Vision 2B coming out for Pulsechain testing is very exciting in a couple of days. So apparently it is syncing already. So I guess they've got to go through all the database, pretty big database to sync it and then get that up and running. So it's going to have PulseX working, AMM bot running, of course, on Uniswap Vision 2 and SushiSwap. We looked at that today, remember, in the daily video live stream. Not daily video, the live stream video. And, of course, sacrifice balances. So that's going to be pretty cool. As well. I'm expecting it to have a block height as well, have a new block height, expecting that, so that should be fun. It doesn't say that there, but that's what we've been told, so cool. 11 cents on Hex, 4,400 on Hedron, looking good, folks. Breakout on Hedron, nice. And just, I don't call this a breakout, but it's a nice a firming up of the X price, and of course, we would like it really to get back into I really like to get it back into the middle of the daily Bollinger Bands at about 12.6 cents. That'd be very, very nice to get up there. Now, obviously, we broke our uptrend with these candles, but if we could start to form a new uptrend potential, that'd be very, very nice and very cool. Obviously, if the market's moving on this and it keeps holding that momentum, and when this comes live, then that should help the price even more. So it'd be pretty cool. All right, so still uncertain here, but man, this was a red candle, man. We were down at 10.1 cents, and now we're at 11 cents. That's pretty cool. Anyway, let's jump over to the Gwei. The Gwei at the moment is really good. So look at the 16 Gwei on Ethereum. And of course, the Uniswap version 3 fee is about $8-9 at the moment. So what, you might get charged $7 maybe. It's definitely looking good here in terms of buying Hex and Hedron at the moment. If you're looking at the fees, very, very cool. Now, I was going to say something about something someone else said. Rackham was super bullish and looked really committed to push us into rally with a time. Very cool. Dinger Wolf says your photo when you clicked on the link to the watch thumbnail, maybe. Your photo when you clicked on the link to watch thumbnail, maybe. Not sure what that is, Dinger Wolf. Oh, you're talking about the Kira Beach? Oh, right. Yes. So all the surfers, that's the breakout, like the breakout of the surfers. I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool. Hey, Hedron's just jumped to 4,413. Man, it's looking good. So it's actually getting steeper, isn't it, on the channel there? So we're almost into a steeper channel. Let's pull this up here. Bam. Let's get the bit of facility in there. And of course, we're going to play that out now. Look at this. Oh my gosh. We're getting even steeper there on the price rise. Nice. Taprin says, oh man, just getting off work. Yeah, nice one, Taprin. You got me, Taprin. 19 Guays is Vince. Yeah. Nice Guay price here. All right, so looking good there on the price. Now, one of the things I was going to talk about was this here. So this, while we're just looking at the charts and having a community chat, just to hang out, talking about the breakout of Hedron at the moment, and of course the Hex gaining support now, bouncing off with the V2 news, V2B news. We've got this here. This is from Jexa. Look, it's kind of got it's called One DeFi. In other words, it's the ultimate DeFi group. It's got price positive feedback loops. Now, I've got the link in the video description to this, but I've also got the original source video to Jex's video. It's got over 10,000 views, so very popular if you haven't seen it already. But it's got the ultimate strategy, and I definitely think it's one of the better videos if you're thinking about how can I get the max out of max potential out of Pulsechain, Pulsex, and Hex, of course, when it all's up and running. And I thought this was a pretty good chart here, also with liquid loans, and it's kind of got liquid loans on the left here. And it's kind of, it feeds back on itself, just creating more and more value. And I thought that's really, really cool. So I just wanted to highlight some of the stuff. The fact that, you can put your pulse in here. If you do it 100,000 collateral, in other words, you're borrowing 10%, you can mint your USDL, and you can buy Hex with it. And of course, you can play the price up on Hex. So it's a win there. Or you could buy Pulse with it. And of course, put my Pulse in here and then borrow more on it. That's kind of the haunted strategy. You just keep minting more. As the price of Pulse goes up, you can mint more USDL and buy more Pulse in a USDL Pulse pool. And I think this is going to be one of the biggest pools. And I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, it's going to be a massive pool. And it's going to be one of the major fundamentals. If they get thousands of people through this, and even tens of thousands, if they did 10,000, insane. But if they got thousands, I mean, they could really push the price of Pulse up just by itself as a massive leverage demand thing as it goes around. The other thing, of course, is that with the loans staking, they get more loan token as well. So you stake loan, you get more loan tokens. That's pretty earning fees there too. So that's really cool. The other side, of course, with the Pulse decks, not only earning Hex there, but you got PLX buy and burn. So the price of Pulse Hex is up. So it's really the ultimate kind of scenario, right? This whole thing. So really think about I would start really thinking about your strategies now of making the ultimate, not taking too much risk, just using the awesome fundamentals that within these platforms, and maybe, just think about it like that. So it is pretty cool. All right, so I just wanted to raise that up. I've got the links in the video description there, and credit to Jexa, of course, who's in the Liquid Loans team, also on Discourse Syndicate on the Australian program. So, pretty cool. All right, so, a little bit of profit taking there on Hedron, 4334, just down slightly. So far, we have had our high here in the hourly at 4428, which we just saw happen. So that's looking pretty good. All right, and we got the Hex at 10 cents. So we're going to jump that to the hourly here. And we're going to get rid of all our scale that. Nice. All right, so that's the Hex price, 11 cents, looking pretty good. Whew. Let's get into some cop here. Taffrin says we're still live. Hey, Taffrin, we're going for 365 24/7 live streams now. We're never stopping. No, actually, on YouTube you can't actually do more than 12 hours. No, this Teflon, this is a new format, just doing the Hex chart and the Hedron chart. Of course, in the future, we'll be able to do Pulse and Pulsex and other stuff. And most of the live streams are going to do around the price are just going to be when we've got something critically happening with the price. Won't be covering the price just, all the time. But we've got this breakout on Hedron, and we've got a nice move up on the X price after the announcement of Richard. So very, very cool. Ranchina says, hi, Teflon, with the money bags. Internet money pays out in PLS. We can use that to pay back LL collateral, yeah. Or you can just add more PLS and get more collateral, and of course buy either load that in, buy more loan tokens, get more fees. There's lots of different ways you can use it. So it's pretty neat. CryptoPay says, yes, Akira Beach is in Queensland. Awesome surf break. Okay, so maybe that photo was Akira and the beach there. I'm not actually sure what it was. Let me have a look, see whether I can actually see whether it's got a name on the photo that I used. Let's have a look there, see what beach it actually is. It is in the Gold Coast. So the photo is in the Gold Coast. I think that's all it says. Let me see if it's got the credit on the photo. It is Gold Coast, though. The image is in the Gold Coast. Yeah, there's not many beaches that have that many rip curls on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 wave sets there. There's not many that have that. Won't actually click on for some reason. Not sure why that is. Oh, it is clicking on. Just to give me a second on that. What's the photo there? A picture of Luke Sorensen. So I'm not sure where that is. It's an artificial reef from the looks of it. Gold Coast. Yes, I think that might be it. Nice. All right. Cool. Another live. Woohoo, says Brennan. Yeah. Woohoo. Hey, we're just covering the price because after Richard's call out there, we're getting a nice little pump on the price there. And also on Hedron has had a breakout out of the downward channel, which has been pretty awesome. So the downward channel, we've broken out there and doing pretty well with the price calls as well, which is pretty nice. AK says, I have a bad feeling Hedron will do a similar distribution top like Hex and dump to bottom to retest, or at least go back to retest 1785. Hey, AK, I mean, yeah, so that's definitely a possibility. And of course, 1785 would be down at the a retrace of just below the 78 line. So you're talking about an 8% pullback. So the 78.6 on the Fibonacci is 2000. And of course, yeah, so you're talking about pretty severe. Hey, that can do that. It can do that for sure. But at the moment, of course, it looks like it's at least forming a new structure, and that structure is up at the moment. So we'll see how it goes. There's no reason why it couldn't do a double top. Could still do a double top, but I suspect that this will drag on a bit longer. But yeah, so far so good. It's always a bit hard to tell, but yeah, so far so good with the announcement. So nice. Hopefully that answers you there. Okay. We got the surfs on. Yeah, nice. Kira. Yeah, probably is Kira. Woohoo. We found out it is Gold Coast. So yeah, woohoo, says MK. Nice one. Smash that like button. This says Ninja. Absolutely. Hex token pump. Yeah. So green candles on the Hex token live stream. That's how we rock and roll here. And awesome news from Richard. Yeah, it was, Brendan. Really, really good. Let's snap back there. That's the news. Testnet V2B in a couple of days. And we do, apparently it is syncing. He said it's syncing. And of course, with the data, all the stuff that's coming in there, with Pulsechain working, AMM bot run on Uniswap version 2 and CC swap and sacrifice balances. So all got to be in there. Pretty neat on that. All right. So cool. It's actually had a huge amount of likes too. Actually, let me just scroll back up there. Oh, damn it. Oh, I've lost it now. Let me go. I've lost it. No, I don't want to lose that. Let me just go back one more time. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so we've got some of the comments there. Give it to me, baby. Bullish AF. I like some of these comments that people make. Shite, let's go. Let's go. We can see this enthusiasm, of course, in the chart here. Obviously, that's pretty happening. But like I said, it'd be nice to get back to 12.6 cents. That would be pretty cool. And yeah, looking forward to that. And Hedron, of course, breaking out live. Love it when the price is moving up live. Isn't that cool? And of course, when the price chart is the most important thing in crypto, we all know that. It's probably 90%. Even the underlying utility, if the underlying utility could be amazing, fundamentals, right? But of course, that green candle go up is what really keeps people super excited. That's why it's probably spent a lot of time on this channel talking about the fundamentals. But really, sorry guys, I don't mean to. I got to get my login on this, but I don't actually want to log in on this computer because I want to keep this computer, secret or whatever you want to say. I don't want it in the system as tagged to my particular account. So let's have a look on this. Let's go. Nice on that. Show some more replies here. My man pulls through. Fire. Congratulations. One step closer to taking over crypto. Yeah, nice on that. We've got the RG3 in their house. That was pretty neat. Very, very cool. Watch out. The first tweet was so funny, though. Actually, damn it, I've lost it again. Let's go one more time here. And, yeah, love it. Nice. So some really cool comments there as well. So, yes, so excited. That's a good place to finish, right? So, very cool on that. And that is the announcement. And, of course, the Hex price has responded. We're at 11 cents, but up. Let's go up with the Hex and just consolidate at 12.5. Happy to consolidate, maybe 11.5, 12.5 cents, and just get ourselves up to the top there. Brendan says, are we seeing correction between Hedron and Hex price now? Well, we're definitely saying, I said this earlier, maybe people might get caught out with the Hedron. Maybe they traded out some Hex in there. They may not be able to get back into Hex if the Hex price keeps going up, right? So at least not at the price they went into. But at the moment, they're up. At the moment, they're up 4x. 40% increase on Hedron since it was down at the bottom here. So 40% from here to up to top here was 40%, and Hex at the moment is just under 10 cents, 10%, or around about 10% there. So it's a 4 to 1 win if you had bought Hedron at the bottom there. AK says your thoughts on Fed increasing rates today and impact on markets. So yeah, I haven't actually done a read up today, but it does seem that they're a bit softer. They're going to do that rate rise a bit slower last time I checked. So I haven't checked today, okay. We could actually check on the investment one. It wasn't something I was going to look at, but let's have a look at investing.com, see if they got a little commentary on there. Let's have a look here. No, there's no headline article on it, but I actually don't like this site because investing is supposed to be neutral, but this investing.com is politically left, and it should be a neutral site, but it's not, unfortunately. That's why I kind of, even though I use the site because I've used it for a long time, it does annoy me from that point of view. But yeah, don't see. Oh, there's the Fed one here. So let's have a look here. Jump onto this. The Federal Reserve on Wednesday will close the door on its ultra easy pandemic era money policy and step up the fight against stubbornly high inflation. The first in what is likely to be a series of interest rate hikes this year. So originally they were talking about 4, right? And of course, if they may only do 2, but even if they do 4, it's going to hardly dent inflation. Inflation looks like it's going to keep going up and up and up. I mean, the last report was 7.9%. So I don't see that coming down, just see it getting worse. So I think the Fed is stuck. And of course, they're still printing under the last 2 years policy. They've been printing a huge amount, like trillions and trillions of dollars of money. And so, let's see what happens. They were already doing trillions. I can't remember the number now. It's really high, 12 trillion a month, 12 trillion or so. Can't remember what time frame that's over. They were doing about 4 to 6 trillion. I think they've gone up to like 12 or so trillion. They're also printing money for other countries as well. It's not commonly known. So, yeah. What else? Let's have a look here. Sorry, just going through. Powell says we'll be walking a tightrope, balancing the need to raise interest rates and rein in the more systemic rise in inflation with the need to avert meltdown. So they can't actually do a lot. So it's a lot of talk. So they'll put up the top, but they actually won't end up being able to do much. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's about it there. Let me post that if you want to check that article out. Wasn't something I was going to get too much into during today, but definitely I might pick that topic up tomorrow, okay, during the live stream. Cool. Thank you for your hard work, says Hex Buffer. Hey, pleasure pleasure. And let's jump out of there. We'll get back into the price. Yeah, Hex is looking good. Hex, yes, please, says, wow, caught my first live. Watch every day. Massive thank you for your hard work and education. 80% of my knowledge is due to you. 45 cents was my introduction. Chaos since, still positive. Yeah. You just hold the time. Time in the market will play out for you there, Hex, yes, as well. The other side, of course, is you can pick up more cheaper. If you pick it up cheaper, your dollar cost average is cheaper. You pull down your 45 cents down by dollar cost averaging down at 10, 11 cents. That's the way to do it. But thanks, appreciate that. It's very nice. And glad that you caught the live stream for sure. Brazil says, guys, my brain is exploding. I got Hex stakes making me more Hex and Hedron. Then I sacked a little for internet money, which will generate me Pulsechain coins. Then I will delegate, making me even more, says Referral Bonus. Hey, that's an interesting thing about delegation. I actually think that obviously the Origin account will dominate delegation, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Hex says, ever in London, beers on me. Hey, nice one. That's a really nice. You've made a few online friends in London, so it's great to add you to the collection there, Hex. Yes. Nice. So Prasad says, so I'm passively generating Hex, Pulsechain, and Hedron from multiple sources. It's like video game cheat codes have been activated. I like that. Hey, that's a good point about the cheat codes in games. Man, I love getting those. They're really cool. I don't know if the games. I was going to say some games, but they're probably they're probably too old to, what do you call it, too dated to me. Let me know. I'll put these games out there if you know. If you first of all, if you've ever used let me know in the chat if you ever used a Spectrum computer, and of course, if you know a Spectrum computer, then that's going to date you a little bit. Because it's kind of at the beginning of game period. And secondly, if you've ever played Midnight Revenge, I think it is, and Doomdark's Revenge and Lords of Midnight. I think there's those games. So let me know in the chat if you actually played those. AK says MetaMask tweeted saying they will be getting into DAO and launch their own token. Oh, really? Okay, that's a big deal. Do you think that's why Richard Hart is also planning to capture the market with his version and token? Can you please look into it? Yeah, I'll definitely look into that. Okay, it's pretty interesting. Now, the only thing with DAO is I only like DAO. The DAO needs to really directly connect to the token, potentially have a redemption as well, to have a redemption. I think that the DAOs because they can make money on DAO money, right? The treasury, get a big treasury, make money on the treasury. But if that's not going back to the ecosystem as a buybacks or something to pump the token, then it's really a lot of the DAOs are not structured properly. No, that's pretty interesting there. AK and MetaMask no doubt will raise a lot. If they're doing $100,000, $200,000 a day in fee volume through the swaps, then they could making a DAO just jumping up, just another big business they can run on there. And of course, with the popularity, it's going to do well. Hey, good one. Yeah, I'll look into it a bit more. Nice one. Yeah, okay, let me write that down somewhere. Yeah. Let me write that down on here. MetaMask and DAO. What else you say? Launch their own token. Yeah. Cool. All right. That'd be very lucrative, right? So looking good. Obviously, that's what internet money is going to be doing for a Pulsechain. Brennan Elizalek says, are they Atari games? No, it's actually before Atari, but at the same time, kind of around the same time, but just before. Yeah. T says, awesome show as always. I'm sure why you don't have 100,000 subs yet. Hey, well, yeah, who knows, T? Who knows? But hey, we're working on it. We're growing, but I agree with you as well. So nice. Precisely says, lol, never heard of Spectrum computers, all those video games. Yeah, so Spectrum games, kind of the early games. And of course, they're actually, I think they were technically before Commodore 64s, but were around at the same time, obviously. Check them out. Check out a Spectrum computer. Check out the power that it had, the computering power. It'll make you laugh. Your mobile phone's probably, I don't know, 1 million times more powerful, something. Who knows? Maybe 100,000. I don't know. But yeah, it's quite funny. Also, those games were, though they were primitive, they were really, really cool at the time. Midnight's, Doomdark's Revenge, Midnight, Lords of Midnight, I think it is. Cool. Brazology says Hex token really is the best Hex Pulsechain stream. I appreciate that, Brazology. That's a big thing coming from Brazology there. Vinrek says Atari, tank game, and television football. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Brazology 100%. Hey, so yeah, we couldn't actually. I don't think my family could afford a Commodore 64 at the time. I think we had some rich friends that had some of them. They weren't too common, but they had some of those. But we had our Spectrum. We were quite happy with our Spectrum. The games were pretty awesome. So let me pull it up on the screen. Why don't I do that since we're talking about it? Spectrum computer. Let's have a look at it. Bam. Oh man, it's bringing back memories just looking at this thing, man. All right, ZX Spectrum, 8-bit personal home computer developed by Sinclair Research. It was first released in the United Kingdom, of all places, 23rd of April 1982, and went on to become Britain's best-selling microcomputer, referred to during development as the ZX81. Yeah, that's right. The ZX82. So pretty cool. What else did it have? It had the Spectrum was released as 8 different models, ranging from entry level at 16 kilobytes of RAM, folks. 16 kilobytes of RAM. And the ZX Spectrum, that's what we had. So we had the ZX Spectrum at 128 kilobytes of RAM. That's what we had. Woo-hoo, power! And built floppy disk drive. Yeah, we had the floppy disk drive. And of course, 1987. So this is the version that we had. This one here. Although they sold over 5 million units worldwide. So they weren't actually that common, right? So obviously computers weren't generally everywhere. But that's kind of the thing there. And that is the computer. You can see the picture there. It's a pretty bad. Oh, there we are. That's the picture there. And of course, you got your QWERTY keys and stuff like that. So spacebar, pretty nice. So that was really early, man. As I say, actually, this is the 1980, 87, 82. Let's have a look at the Commodore 64. Commodore 64. See what that is. I've misspelled it, but there we are. It's got it right. So Commodore 64, 1982. So the same year as Spectrum, actually. The first one came out same year as the Spectrum, 1982. But they must have had several upgrades as well. So 64. So yeah, 64 kilobytes of RAM. Is that insane? Insane now. 64 kilobytes of RAM. That's amazing, right? But you could actually do surprisingly good things with it as well. So if we have Lords of Midnight, midnight. Sorry, we're just slightly distracted here just while we're looking at some of these things. This is Lords of Midnight. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Here is the cover. Lords of Midnight. Wow, that is so cool. But this game used to fascinate us for hours and hours. Well, basically, all you had to use was the forward and back button. You would jump through the game. It was really quite simple, but you had big armies and you could get bigger armies, stuff like that. Let's actually go some imagery. You can see this is the imagery that had like this. So your armies would be like this. It was actually an incredibly difficult game. There was big maps that you could get, but it was pretty insane. Here you can see there's an army here. I think they're having a battle or something like that. So lots of screenshots. Here's one here. Doom Dark's Revenge. Another one there. Anyway, so that's a little distraction there. Just wondering whether anyone else had known that. So cool. Anyway, Hex is back at 11 cents. So looking good here, folks. Woohoo! And of course, Hedron is on breakout. Just a little bit of selling in here. Let's have a look on the trades here to see what there. We're at 2.4. Yeah, we had this big sell here, 49,000, 11.7 billion. That took the price down a little bit. What else we had here? Another 52,000. Like I say, you get those sells in, right? So that's why when we put these dips in, it's really about these sells that come in here with people selling out. So especially after bounce up here, if some of these are bought up into here or maybe they bought way down here. Maybe they bought way down here and they're selling up here now that the price has recovered a bit. So you get a bit of that too. All right, cool. Hexy says, caught the stream live on the graveyard shift. Woohoo! A nice one. Working 9 to 5 on the graveyard shift or something like that. Nice. My first computer. No way. Really, Dog Days? Was that your first computer? Awesome. So you have shared the memory there. Shared the memory. Nice one. And Brendan says, we sold our Atari console 6 years ago at a garage sale and sold it for $300. Wonder what it'd be worth now. Probably insane, Brenton. So my cousins actually had 2 Apple IIs. Can you believe it? Apple IIs. And of course, let's pull that up. An Apple II. Apple II. They had one box, and another one that had been used. But this thing would be worth, I don't know, 100,000, 200,000, or I don't know, maybe $1 million. Who knows? These things are really, really expensive. And yeah, I think this is the one here. It's just Apple II, the original Apple II. Yeah, they had this one here. So, oh, what happened there? I lost it. Let me just jump back out of there. Don't know what that was. Yeah, they had this one here, the Apple II. Can you believe it? What does that do? I'm not sure what that does. There's Apple II here. I'm not even sure what I just did there, but they had Apple II, and of course, this would be worth a mint. So here is the man himself, one of the two, with the Apple II there. Got playing chess on the board there. Got the floppy disk drives. Man, oh man. So yeah, my cousins had one of these boxed, and it was actually my uncle had one of these boxed, and one of my nephews gave one away or something, and then got rid of the other one somehow. I'm not sure, but they lost them, and of course they'd be worth a mint now, absolute mint on the Apple II. Apple II sold. Let's see if they're. We've got some prices on these. There were about 6 million units on Apple IIs, but of course having one that's operating is still the case. So yeah, they're pretty expensive as far as I know. These old Apple computers are worth 905,000. So just shows you this was 2020. So these are worth a lot, these Apple computers. So this is an old one here. But yeah, they're definitely going for a lot of money. That's an Apple One. Bohem's put a rare Apple One computer up for auction in 2014, and it went for 300,000 to 500,000. But yeah, like I say, I actually it was Apple One, Apple II. Yeah, Apple II here. We had fetched. Oh yeah, so they've got Apple II is definitely expensive. So back here they were like 10,000. I think they're like 100,000 now. Anyway, I distract myself with the Apple IIs. All right, cool. Brazology says Hedron is $4.26 per 1 million Hedron. So $4.26. That's pretty interesting. It's a good ratio, isn't it? Another ratio is, of course, Hedron versus Hex, right? How many Hedron per Hex? So yeah. So how much is that at the moment? Let's do the math. So 0.11 divided by 0.12345 for 250. So 25,882 Hedron per Hex at the moment. So that's pretty interesting. My first PC was an 8,088 4 megahertz, then a 386 SX, 33 megahertz, then a 486 100 megahertz. Yeah. So 486 we used a lot of those. 386 was used a lot of those. That's kind of they were using those in the corporate world, right? So and then internet was a COM-port 2400 modem. Oh, nice. Okay, cool, man. Man, the computers are so powerful now. It's insane, isn't it? Kilobyte RAMs. Yeah, that's so funny. It makes me laugh too. Of course, it's not so funny if you just come onto computers, right? Like the young current. Obviously, they're going to get better and better. So pretty much the computer's processing power, they got down to the nanometer, so which is like a billionth of a meter, and of course it's down where the atom size is. And of course they were getting down to like computers down to like 7 nanometers in size, and sometimes trying to get slower. But of course the physics changes when you get down to that level. And so now what they've been doing is like layering the wafers and stuff like layering the processing power and stuff like that to try and get the processing power up. So it's been pretty fascinating watching that. Obviously, they're talking about quantum computers. I'm not sure if the quantum computers are truly quantum, using quantum mechanics. So, but they call them quantum computers. But they're definitely, better power for sure. How much was the Apple II worth retail back in the day? I do not know. My uncle had bought it. So I just said to my nephew, I just said, you're crazy, right? Or my cousin. No, it's my cousin. So my cousin, sorry, I just said to my cousin, you're crazy. What did you say? Got rid of those. He was clueless about what they were worth. Yeah. T says, I wouldn't be surprised the mainnet launched no more than a week after V2B. Really? Pulsechain is complete. Let me think about this. RH is just waiting for the right time to pull the trigger. Public V3 won't be needed, only private. Don't you think that Vision 3 of the pool does require some testing on the public net? He could do that, T. He could do it, but I just don't think. I think that he could do it. I mean, you're right, quite right. It is quite a reasonable strategy, but I think that the testing. Let me think about that. They need a real live chain to be up and running for version 3 to be tested. I would have thought. I could be wrong about that, but I would have thought so. So I'm still in the camp where a testnet 3 is going to be coming, because the version 3 pool, the mathematics is quite different. You know, as you probably know quite a bit about V3, so I won't go through all that. My first was, and I'm talking about version 3 of Uniswap. That is my first was a TSR80 Color Computer 2. Nice. Maybe it was a TSR80. Nice, says Spike. Nice. Pokemon, yeah. Well, Pokemon's getting a bit more new now. It's talking about game. It's not too old. Stuff we're talking about is like 1977 and 1982, 1987. That's getting back there a bit there. But it's all relative, right? It's all relative. So I remember I was talking to my grandfather, and he was like born in what year? 1902. 1902 was born. And so, you know, you're getting back there in the dates there. So cool. I think that I met this one person. I think she was 103, and this was she was born in. I met her ages ago, like decades ago, and she was born in 1893 or something like that, somewhere like that. Anyway, so it's quite fascinating. Of course, talking to people like that. Obviously, you can't talk to someone in the 19th century now these days, could you? 1923, no. There'll be no one alive from the 19th century. So yeah, that's one of those things. But you can watch them on video on YouTube. You can watch them on. There's some videos of people way back. They got people from the American Civil War on video. If you've seen some of those videos, pretty amazing. So that's exceptional, right? They're wearing the old clothes that you see in the movies, like cowboy movies. That's pretty insane. Anyway, we've got Hex here just sitting. Oh, it's just tabbed in under 11 cents there, but holding up pretty nicely. At the top of the Bollinger Bands on hourly too, which is cool. We've got Hedron here on the breakout, but just having a little bit of a breather here after having a couple of sells in there, entered there. So cool. Once again, the price will keep moving up if there's more buyers and sellers. We did break down the steeper line here, and of course we'll delete that. Now we're still on this line here though. So cool. What else we got going? Very nice. Hey, we're Alan too. Nice, not too bad. Hey, I'm just going to be back. I'm going to go get a drink. So have we got any moderators in the house? We've got Brendan in the house and Brazology. I'll be back in a minute. Just going to get myself a cool drink. I haven't got any intermission thing where I play some cool jingle or something like that. I've got to get that. That'd be really cool. And I'm back. There we are, just like that. Magic. The power of the internet, magic. All right, let's see what we got going on here. We got Davis in the house. I almost bought Pokemon cards because of you, but I didn't because I have no idea what I'm messing with, says Tapman. That's pretty funny. Tapman says, my wrench is ready. Enjoy your drink. Oh, nice one there, Tapman. Appreciate that. Very, very cool. And we've got Brazology Wrench Team 6 checking in. Nice one. You guys are rocking. You're rocking the DMB on this one. And of course, what else we got? Elevator music for people in chat. Yeah, that's right. Damn, we're streaming tonight, baby. Yes, it's happening. Absolutely. Happening. Money bags in the house. All right, so cool. We've got Hex at almost 11 cents again. And man, I'd really like to see it go up towards 12.5 cents. So if we go to the daily chart here, let's pull this in. And this is the daily chart now. Man. So let's put in the line here. So yeah, just think it would be nice to get back. Well, actually, I'll take that away. It'd be nice to get in the Bollinger Bands here, right in the middle is the 50% mark of the Bollinger Bands on the daily at 12.5, 12.6 cents. So it'd be nice to get back up to there in the next, maybe 48 hours, if not earlier. We'll get a nice chart list. Let's say if we get 48 hours, let's say 24 hours. It'd be nice to get like that in the next 24 hours. Cool. And of course, the Hedron price looking pretty good here. A little bit of profit taking after a big, nice run up here. This is probably a healthy little pullback. And then, of course, we'll see what angle it goes. Is it going to keep accelerating at this rate? Or is it going to take a softer angle there? We're looking at back here. So let's actually scroll down and have a look at the Fibonacci. We are down currently at the Fibonacci. We're back over the 50% line, so pretty nice. Let's have a look from the all-time low here. We're going to scroll up. And, of course, we're still up in a healthy 6.6x. So we did 12x. We're still up 6.6x. So very, very cool. And of course, we're up off the bottom of the bottom of the channel. And of course, we're up at the moment. We're up about 37.5%, but we were up about 40%. So looking very good. If you'd bought here during the live stream we did yesterday, you would have caught this bottom and made most of that 40% gain. So yeah, expect the check in the mail for the commission. I'm just kidding. That's really, really cool. David says, Taffrin, yeah, the hobby is not a place for guessing games. You can sustain massive losses. It's full of scumbag scammers like crypto. And if you don't only buy grade 9 and 10s, never raw. Yeah, you have to really know those things upside down. You have to spend a bit of time in the culture there for the Pokemons. What's the prediction in Hex in 2024? Well, I like the Crypto Spy book, guys, a price prediction. And of course, 2024 is a bit of way out there, so I don't have my almanac with me. But this year, this year's kind of my price target is probably $1.30 is the price target for this year. It was a lot higher before, but of course, pull back on there. So we're gonna have two tokens, of course, Hex on ETH. So I would take Rackham's conservative or estimate of $1.20 on ETH and on Pulsechain as probably a good price target there. But instead of being 2 years, 1 year is probably the way to put that. So if we extrapolate that out to 2024, we're probably going to be over $10 somewhere. So maybe $15, something like that as well. So, but it does depend on the market. So at the moment, we do have some serious financial and geopolitical risks. We are in a mega trend. And of course, if we come to the end of that mega trend, and I call that trend from 2008, post 2007, the Great Recession, as they call it, all the way up, even past 2011, market correction, all the way up to now. We're in this massive cycle, low interest rate cycle. So it is unprecedented. Yeah, it depends what happens with that. So that's the only thing that really makes me nervous. Geopolitical risks, not so bad at this stage, although that said, if China moves on Taiwan, then whatever's happening in Ukraine is going to look like a tea party compared to a Taiwan explanation. And of course, isn't it funny? I don't want to get too much in geopolitics, but isn't it funny? We had the Great War in 1914 to 1918, and we had World War I from 39 to 45. And of course, never to be repeated again, right? And then we get these things happening, not too long ago. And that's not just in those powers; it's also within the Western powers. We've got a lot of problems, a lot of authoritarianism trying to come through in the Western powers as well. So they're not innocent of anything. But isn't it funny? Just 100 years later, human behavior repeats itself, regardless of how advanced our technology gets. In fact, technology probably just makes it easier to do, to use it for not so good things. So we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, we're going to pump our crypto bags. That's probably the main point. Pump your crypto bags. And of course, hopefully that will give you as much freedom as you can, for sure. All right, let's get into it. Tefron's got this. Let's take it 1 year at a time, but 1 year at a time. Yeah. We could easily though have over $10 in 2024 if everything goes to plan. In other words, retail virality, the big whales coming in, the institutions. You could see it in potentially up in that high, maybe even higher in the tens. So it's definitely possible if we have everything play out as we hope and expect it to in that time frame. But definitely, I think the crypto spar books guy's price of $7 and maybe in that time frame is probably a good conservative way to play. But once again, once we get scarcity into Hex and we get a lot of users into it, then it suddenly gets spread out. So pretty cool. Let's actually have a quick look at that. Let's do a silly little calculation. And of course, world's population. This is a very crude calculation. And of course, let's do that at the moment. So we've got the world's population, 7.9 billion. We'll take that. And 7.9 billion. Let's take that math. I'm going to do that off course, of course. 7.9. It's a million. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3, 6, 9. All right. So let's we got that. Obviously, we're going to exclude inflation. We'll exclude inflation. We'll just take the simple math there. So I'm going to put that in there. Let's take 638 billion X. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So obviously a lot of that's in the origin account. So this is just the total supply. It's not actually just the public supply. We're going to do public supply because I think it's a better run. Let's divide that by the total population of the world. So per person in the world, I know there's children under 18, all the rest of it over 65 or whatever you want to break them down. Children really, but that's 80 hex per person in the world. So 80 hex. So that'd be worth quite a lot if you think about it. Obviously, there's wealth distribution, all the rest of other stuff, but that's just a very crude, entertaining metric there, 80. So let's actually do it. Let's take out the origin account. Let's actually have, say, 13.5 billion, which is what is liquid. Let's take the liquid amount because the rest is staked or in the origin account. So let's take that 13.5 billion. 2, 3, and let's divide that by the world population just as a crude measure. I'm not going to deduct any age groups or anything, or where they live, how wealthy they are, blah blah blah. And recalc, let's do that. Boom. So that's if we take the 13.5 billion in liquid hands as estimated by Gunther the accountant divided by the world's population, that's not 80 hex, that's 1.7 hex per person. So there we are, folks. Pump. All right, this is some crazy stuff right here. So 1.7 hex per person is the way we go on the liquid amount in public hands. It's not the origin count. That's the way we go. So some cool, interesting numbers there. Dave says, or rake it 1 month at a time. Yeah. What else? We've got Tefron's got the fat smiles on for sure. And T says, maybe version 3 public testing, but the public wouldn't need to test the actual V3. That's correct. I agree. V3 will have minimal items. The expert devs be able to quickly and efficiently test it themselves. Just my 2 cents. I agree with you, T. But yeah, I think that it would probably be nice to see it up and running as a test run. I expect version 3 to be short and have it running on the actual blockchain as opposed to a test server would probably be a good idea there, T. Here or there. And Brendan Eslick says, I remember people saying Hex to $100 this year. I was getting so excited. Yeah, well, people were talking about $1 million Hex, right? $1 million Hex. $1 million Hex. But I'm not in that camp. I definitely think Hex is going to be worth a lot, like a lot. But, in 5 years' time or 10 years' time, we'll look back and go, oh, man, we're so silly. The price is so high now. And we all, we're saying $2 and $5. But obviously, if you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin's price is so massive, right, compared to what it was. When Richard was talking about $30 Bitcoin, and of course, now we've had as high as 69,000, 68,000 Bitcoin. So they can get pretty big. Now, Bitcoin is in the millions, right? So we've got going to ever have 21 million Bitcoin by, was it 2141? And of course, we've got, was it as 8.5 or 19 million Bitcoin around at the moment? I can't remember the number now, but obviously they reckon about 4 million of that's lost. So, let's say 8.5, 14.5 million in Satoshi's wallet. So 13.5, maybe 13.5 million. So that gets us to, times 68,000. So you can see what I mean. It's quite a different metric. I think I equivalent about when I first at the early days when Hex was launched. I think I was doing 35,000 Hex per Bitcoin was my estimate at the time. So interesting number. Obviously, the good thing about Hex is that most of the inflation is deferred into the future. So like I say, we've only been having about depending on whose modeling you look at. I think Crypto Spark Book guys predictions about 1.1% or something, and Wales only stuff's like 1.6% inflation. So it's a lot of this inflation gets deferred into the future, which is pretty cool. That helps to get scarcity and get the price moving up faster too, doesn't it? So it's pretty nice. Brendan says, I remember people saying Hex to $100. Yeah, that's right. Lol says, Davis, Crypto Nura says, I guess it was crazy. This crazy war and political stuff continue longer. We might not measure in the US dollars any longer. That's true. What to measure what then? Yeah. So we could above the US dollar. The US dollar is reserve currency. I think the World Bank has these certificates. I can't remember what they're called. But of course, if the US dollar collapsed, they've got these certificates. But then again, you've got China and Russia and other alliances that maybe Turkey, Iran, North Korea, right? They're all in their kind of rebel group. They have those rebel alliances. They may look to try and make get US dollar reserve currency away. But people that want to get rid of reserve currency in the US, that is not going to end up good. So it's just about who do you have your bit of moral value judgment on, despite the fact that they all do some bad things. It's pretty much trying to pick the best one out of the pack, isn't it? So I still stick with although I won't get too much into the political stuff, but that's kind of where you lead with it. Brendan says, I think Johnny Chaos was saying it's September last year. Yeah, I think so. You're right about that. CryptoPay says Commodore 64 was my first bad boy. Yeah. I remember we had some rich friends that had Commodore 64s, and they used to have all these games. They used to plug the games in. We're still using floppy disks, I think it was, for our Spectrum, but they were having just the cartridges and the Commodore 64. That's what they had. Yeah. So we were a bit jealous of that, but we actually liked our games a lot, that we had on the Spectrum. Nice, lol. And Brendan says that number was based on doubling periods if it continued. Crypto TM says digital money. Yeah, digital money. I actually saw a commentator talking about digital money on Fox Business, and I thought, man, is he clueless? He discounted centralized digital money by Federal Reserves and stuff like that. I was going, he missed the whole point of it. The whole point is the programmable part. It's the programmable part that's the real dangerous stuff, because they decide, they register everybody. You can't trade without having the digital currency. They basically kind of outlaw the cryptocurrencies, which they can do now under the current laws. They can do that now in the United States. And so you have that. And of course, that's actually programmable. So if everyone has to be registered and then you programmable money, that means you can decide who you can buy and sell to, which is just a nightmare scenario. So we're definitely, regardless of decentralized crypto, which is kind of a freedom thing, you definitely want to, protest with your MP, your local MP, against programmable money, because once that locks you in, you get bad people running the place. You're pretty much in 1984. So you don't really want to be there. We're pretty close to that now, so got to be careful there. Tavern says measuring in Hex. Oh, nice. David says every time you say crude, I cringe thinking of fuel prices. Crude oil prices. I used to trade oil prices. I used to trade a lot of oil, hundreds of millions of dollars in oil. I think how much? I think it was a couple $100 million in oil trades. Crypto says that would be a dream, but would it go higher in price? Then the US dollar was kind of stable. Maybe we need to measure the time, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months. Yeah. What else we got there? Thanks. That's $1 million question. God knows. Yeah. I miss AA really badly. Do you? I mean, we couldn't be happy until that was over, to be honest. Great times. I remember hearing 0.84. Yeah. It was a long time, 350 days of that stuff. So Yucky says, hey ho, are you, buddy? How are you stream in this hour? I don't know, Yucca. It's just a lot of fun. We're looking at the price. We got some really cool action happening on Hedron with the breakout here. This is our breakout. And of course, we've got the Hex price. This was a red candle earlier today. This was red, and it was almost looking like it was going to break through 10 cents. And now we're back almost at 11 cents. We were at 11 cents. So it's looking really cool. This is looking almost a dragonfly doji, a dragonfly doji almost. So yeah, that's a positive sign, a dragonfly doji. So obviously after this, we would need a green candle following the next day and higher. And that would be a confirmation of a trend reversal. And that gives us a good 65% probability, just like we had in this long-legged doji back here. Unfortunately, the chart does get impacted by Hedron or something like that. Hey, it's a cool thing with Hedron, right? I mean, we've got Hedron here, of course, and of course, imagine how many airdrops, how many other projects are going to jump on after the Hedron success and airdrop to Hex holders, Hex stakers. Isn't that going to be cool? There could be lots of different applications that people might do. I think Alex has hit some of the obvious ones, but man, oh man, this could be really quite good for Hex stakers there going forward. So if you're out there, you want to make some pump our bags and airdrop some stuff to Hex stakers, you go for it. As long as you're legit and the contract's being checked, we'll be happy. We're happy to participate. Nice. And T said on day 33, the AA lobby, I got 1.841 million Hex per ETH. ETH was around $250 on that day. I'll never forget the AA lobby. I see. I know what you mean, but yeah, it was very long. I agree with you on that, but it was very, very long. Day 33, yeah. So yeah, that put you into January. You've pretty much got the ideal time there, T. You got the ideal time. Actually, let's pull up the log scale. Let's pull up the log chart. You make me bring that up now. No, not the log, not that one. That's not the one we want. Let's pull up the Hex log chart. Bam. Here we go. Hex log chart. Here we go. All right. So let's scroll up here. Let's pull that up here. I think we might we'll get the look at the log. We'll keep the log chart in there. All right. So let's see what day on here. So we'll get the rule. That's the best way of doing it, right? The 6th. That's about the 16th of January that you're talking about there, T. 16th of January. Hex price was 17,043. So 3017. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. All right. Nice. Let's actually get out. How was the AA lobby? What we got? 350 days. Let's go all the way. 350 days. What's about the? That's the 19th. I thought it was the 19th. 350, 19th. It's got 340 days. I don't know what that's 340 days. Anyway, that's how long it was on the AA lobby. That's pretty long. Spike says, "Love your stream. Keep rocking." Yeah, rocking the DMV there, Spike. And of course, we're in the exciting hour. We've got two cool things. Richard Hart, of course, announced the testnet 2, a V2B. So instead of going with 2.5, he has gone with the 2B one in a couple of days with Pulsechain working, AMM bot run on Uni V2 and Sushi and SAC bounces. This is super bullish. And of course, when this actually goes live, it'll be pretty cool. Obviously, it's going to be up. Is it going to be up for 2 weeks? I don't know. It's going to be fun to play off. We will definitely be playing with Pulsechain on here. We're doing lots of, showing how that works. It's going to be pretty good. The other thing was that was positive is that we've got a lot more validators now. Have I got this logged in? Yeah, I have. So let's go check out the Pulsechain validators. This is what we're here. I thought this was pretty positive. And yeah, we've got 34 validators in at the moment. So that's really nice. And I imagine that we're going to get lots more. I don't know how many validators we'll probably have, but only 33 can be in rotation. So all of these in rotation, except for this one here. This one's not in rotation. So it'll be kind of, they haven't got enough. They need more stakes. So they need more people to stake with them. And they've got a 97% payout. So it's not too bad. I don't have enough polls to make them become a validator. I'm up here at this one here. So number 5 up here. Nice. So that's positive, folks. We have got enough validators to run the Pulsechain. That's pretty cool. I'm sure there'll be a lot more trying to get in there as well. Cool. All right. How are we doing here? No, we're doing all right. Not too bad. We've got to get back up into that trend there. All right, cool. Music last night was good. Oh yeah, music. Let's find the music there. I forgot about the music. Let's play the music with dancing. No, there's the music. Nice. Hopefully you guys like that. Let me know how you think of the music. I think it's at the right level. No one complained about it yesterday. There, Venrex, the music's done. The 8A lobby was the best day ever to buy SSD. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I'm just trying to think. I was doing. A lot of people talk about Hexo's channel, as I said in the previous video. But the fact is, there were a lot of YouTubers promoting Hex in the early days. We all had our YouTube channels. I had mine. The problem is there was like 2 or 3 purges of Hex channel getting purged, and we all lost the channels. We lost our channels. They deleted them, and of course, it's good to be back now. But we were back in the A-Day. We were doing referrals to Hex, getting referrals. And so, yeah, we were always promoting the AA lobby day in, day out. So it was unfortunate. I can't remember when I got channel deleted. I think it was like April or something when my channel got deleted. But there was other people out there doing it. There was Ryan was out there. You guys know Ryan. He was out there doing his YouTube channel. I think he's still got his one up, or he started another one. I can't remember. There's quite a few. We had the head of Wise Token was promoting Hex referrals until, of course, he got upset about the AA lobbies recycling, and then he ended up selling his 150 million Hex on the market for ETH at the time. Lucky for him, the ETH price went up a lot. They made on the ETH price, but of course he would have done way better on the Hex price at the time. And of course there were other people. There's lots of people out there, shilling the Hex thing for referrals. But after, of course, all the purges that happened on YouTube, a lot of channels got taken down. And then good on Hexologists, got onto DLive and just did awesome for that. So that was such a big thing. On board, so many people doing that too as well. So it was pretty good. Brennan says Rackham's price predictions were based off a 2-year time frame. Yes, that's right. Was he applying that Hex price as well, or just PLS and PLSX? Yeah, so it was all 2-year price, but it was on price discovery for the last 2. And of course, that has yet to be found. And of course, typically he was talking about the all-time low. So, yeah. I find the music off-putting personally, says Rusty VR. So let's see how we're going on there. Turn it down a tad. Let's see what it is. So it's defaulted at the high level. I'll take it down to 30. Let me know if the 30 is okay. We'll see how we go there. Maybe turn it down a tad. Find it hard to hear you talk. Yeah, okay. Let's just turn it off. Hey, let's just turn it off, and we'll see how we go there. We're fine with that music, but yeah, it was yesterday. I had the volume down lower, so at least it's better now. T says yes. Day 33 was the cheapest day ever to buy X. Well done, T. Hard to hear. Superman says Rusty VR. There we are. So we're back up there with the sound there. T says Greg Grant had about 120 million. Or most referrals then vanished once X pumped. Oh, good for him. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so there were a lot of early day people were all shilling because there was a referral bonus for the Hex, and of course, so we're out there on the YouTube promoting Hex in the AA lobby and getting people in, and it was particularly good in the first 3 or 4 months. But like I say, a lot of our channels got taken down for no reason. They didn't even tell us, right? Just to take down, and then yeah, I should have probably started up again, to be honest. But once you do all that work, you get a couple of thousand people, and then you get taken down. You get a little bit, annoyed. Rusty says, we don't need the music, just your great info. I like it, Rusty. Nice one. Very cool. So we're on Hex at the moment. It's 10, almost 11 cents in Hedron on the breakout. Let's pull this breakout up a bit more. Let's get this action in. You guys know the downtrend. We're breaking the downtrend. We've got this nice uptrend still intact, even with the sell down. We obviously not as steep as we were, but that's got this uptrend here. Pretty good. So nice. But hey, this green cycles. I just did that during the previous. I did it live on the live show earlier today, and of course that stuff out's looking not too bad. But yeah, that's still got quite a bullish profile, right? So I'm still saying it's gonna go up towards 5,000. That's kind of where I was heading with that. But that's a pretty good little comeback off the bottom, because that would be 5,000. That's like a 60% gain, right? 60% gain, and off the bottom, That would be pretty good too. So off the bottom, that would be 5,000. That would be 790. So 8x. That'd still be 8x after 12x, of course. 5x at the top. That's not too bad. So we're up still 6.6x at the moment. We have been as high as 6.9x. And that's cool. Right, nice. Pull it up. Okay. Make it look like right on there. Cool. All right, so Catherine's got the woo. I agree, Rusty says Brennan. All right, so the music's gone. So this is the new. This is a new show, of course. This is just about the Hex price and the Hedron price. In the future, we'll be able to do a Pulse and Pulse X on certain days. Like I say, I'm only going to do it when I think that there's a nice turn in the chart. T says, I like how you said how Hedron could possibly bring a lot of Hex buyers because of the airdrops on stakers. A great point. Yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome, T. So like I do, I encourage you out there, if you've got some good DeFi ideas and you want to airdrop Hex holders, you want to get some early success, do it. It's a win-win, right? Win for the developer. Obviously, Alex is hopefully he's benefited from it in some forms. And of course, if we look actually at the chart, we actually look at the info. Let's show that on the right. We can see the market cap is 283 million. So Alex can walk around Silicon Valley and say, you guys must be doing your little programming and stuff, but I just made a company that's worth, it was over 400 million. And it's 283 million. Imagine walking around doing that. You're a real life, cool guy. So big hats off to Alex there. And of course, he may be a relatively quiet programmer, although he does get on YouTube and do interviews. He's this quite life changing stuff doing making companies as successful. So yeah, pretty neat. All these stories like this, they'll probably never be covered in Hollywood, but it's the kind of story that you would cover in Hollywood, right? A programmer like Alex just had an idea to add value to Hex, was Hex OG, and wanted to do something good, and then of course has delivered it. And of course, the pool, $6.2 million in liquidity, pretty impressive, right? Pretty impressive. And 12x out of the gate, so it's a win-win for the developer and for the Hex community. And of course, creating those new added values, of course. Nice. Now there are going to be other models, other pairings, of course. Could have lots of different things on that. Theo says 42 watching and only 22 likes. Yeah, what's going on? Come on, hit the thumbs up, guys, and of course, smash the subscribe button. It's really cool. And T says excellent point. Yeah, thanks, appreciate that. Nice. All right, so yeah, looking good. 4,274. Target is up here, so I should move the target now. Let's take this target, bam, and let's paste that. Oh, the wrong cut there. What happened there? It's a little bit sensitive. You've moved this around. So 5,000. Let's put a smiley face there. All right, cool. Should we make that green? No, that's fine as it is. We'll keep it yellow. We already hit this one, but I'm just keeping it there just for glory there. Nice. Yeah, so we could get a lot more. This is true for Pulse. Like, so if you're a sacrifice for Pulsechain, that sacrifice for Pulsex, you're now basically a Genesis holder of both of those too. And of course, if you never sell, if you want to go for the short gains, then maybe you got the short gain price. I don't know if I've got the chart up here at the moment, but let me pull it up over here on this other computer. Pull this up. Rocking the DMV as we do live here on WKLP. It's just pulling out the old name. Right. No, it was the wrong one there. Pull it up. Right. So let's see what that is. Remind myself. One. So that's yeah. So what was I going to say? I was going to say something. Oh yeah. If you're willing to sell up for like 0002, 0002 or something like that, then you'll be gone bigger. Like I say, a lot of people come in and they go, "Oh, I want 1,000x, I want 10,000x," but of course you've got to hold it to get that. You've got to hold the token to get that. It's just that you're not going to get that. If you get a 2x, you get a 2x. That's what you're going to get. Congratulations. But you got to hold the actual tokens to get the bigger X's. And sometimes that can mean just holding it for 6 weeks or 2 months. Sometimes just to get 100x, which is pretty good. And that's outstanding, right? So sometimes that's the way it goes. Yeah, a lot of the whales, who are getting the price much cheaper, like 4,000 for Pulse and stuff like that. They're typically, a lot of them are going to hold, right? They're going to play the long game, just like Rackham is. I wouldn't be too worried. Actually, most of them end up supporting. They look at investments a lot differently. Obviously, you got some that don't. You do get some large holders that can, if they double their bags, they'll be pretty happy. Of course, they don't mind wrecking the chart on the way as well. Let's go back into some of these comments here. Come back up to AK. Not sure if AK is still in the house. AK, let us know if you're still in the house there. And I had a couple of comments. This is one comment AK had earlier. Was I was in Twitter Spaces with Rackham. That's his Overwatch, of course, one of the big whales, the venture capitalist. Was in Twitter Spaces with Rackham. And he said he will be pumping Hex post Pulse launch. And he said he's going to allocate 100 million for Hex and also roll the PLX gains back into Hex. Sellers going to cry. Now, interesting thing about that, of course, we've got the investment scale coming in, investment trust coming in as well to buy. So you see what I mean? The buyers are there, and of course there'll be lots more other buyers as well. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see that play out. That was something I was thinking about earlier today between live streams. Was the fact that wouldn't be interesting that if Pulse and a lot of funds from Pulse and Pulsex and stuff like that coming through from possibly the OA or whatever and stuff like that, the sacrifice wallets, and of course the big whales ended up flooding through the Hex ultimately as the very top of the top there. It's going to be pretty interesting to see that, and I think that's a good chance of that happening, to be honest. So yeah, pretty interesting there. The other one that what else do we have from AK? AK said he also sees he's a VC, a venture capitalist. His goal is actually, I think his goal, he put his goal on his site there to be the biggest. I think it was to be the biggest venture capitalist or one of the biggest. And I can't remember the exact phrasing, but he's obviously pretty decent size already, but wants to be. I think he can see Pulsechain and Pulsex and Hex giving him that road to get super, like even to enlarge his already good wealth, but really supersize it. He said, my address, you can check on the blockchain. Also, he said he's heavily invested into the community and he as well as will protect it. Yeah. So like I said, he's telling a lot of other big wealthy people who are getting onto Pulsechain, Pulsex and Hex as well. So nice. They sit around the old fire at night having the drinks and the barbie after they've been out fishing and stuff like that. And of course, then they're talking about, mate, where should we put money? How can we get richer? So it's kind of cool like that, right? This is how the rich ones live. So I used to go to a few places and they used to talk like that, and these guys were super, super wealthy. They'd sit around after a good day out on the boat at their little, I say little but big retreat house, and then they would talk about how they make more money. So it was kind of like that. AK says Rackham also said he had sacrificed 100,000 as a sponsored deal and give those coins to high net worth influencers so they promote. Yeah, I think there's 10 of them too. There's 10 of them. He's going to do that. Cool. AK also said about dumping question. Rackham said he's a 1 or 2 digit billionaire. Exit money is not really what he's looking for. He's here for the glory in building. Yeah. And actually, I think ultimately they make a lot more money by building, right? They make a lot more money by making Pulsechain successful. Obviously, Ethereum is super valued, so it makes a lot of sense doing that. So if we have a look at Ethereum here, let's do that. I'll throw the heat map here. Wrong one. Let's look at the heat map. Right. Let's look at the heat map. We'll jump into Ethereum. I remember the market cap of Ethereum at the moment. So Ethereum's it's climbed up quite a bit. It's almost back up to 2,700. That's nice. So market cap is 321 billion. So these guys make a lot more money, right? Turning, mate. Let's say they're turning half a billion, turn that into 20, half a billion into 20 billion. That's what they can do with Pulsechain, right? So these guys are playing the long game. They're not playing the short game there. If they can do that, so they don't necessarily have to have the money exit either. They can just have the asset value on the book. That gives them a lot of assets too, and they can access that asset value by various means. They don't actually have to sell the market down either. They can sell it, like I said earlier, to other whales through like an over-the-counter or a private deal, private transaction. Maybe they can sell off 10% of their position. Maybe they make their, the chain gets Hex chain gets up to, the Pulse chain, sorry, gets up to a certain amount. They can sell part of that off directly to people who have got the money to buy in. They can do Hex as well, sell Hex that way. So there's lots of avenues without selling the market down with these big positions. So very, very cool. They just break it up, break it up amongst a lot of big players. That's a good way of doing that. Nice. All right. So there's some good comments there. I don't think that was the last one there from AK. Some good contributions there. AK says overall, Rackham was super bullish and looked really committed to push us into the rally over time. It was good to hear. Yeah, absolutely. Good summary there. Thanks, AK, for that one. So I haven't actually heard, actually haven't listened to the Rackham's first audio, but I would be pretty keen to do that. Pretty keen to see him do that for sure. Brendan says, I missed what you said about the trust buying. Were they doing a market price? So they'll probably be doing using 1inch or matcher, and they'll probably end up doing limit orders if they were clever. And that way they just get sold into it. Unless the market's rising, then obviously the best thing would just be doing a spread across the pools and pick it up that way. And so yeah. But yeah, their first target is within, I think within 3 months, 10 million. They were pretty optimistic that they would get to that target pretty quickly. And of course, they'd already had inquiries and stuff like that. They launched on the 12th of March, so it was only a couple of days ago. And so probably recently could expect them, they could start buying in early as probably 2-3 weeks, you could think, since they'd probably already got everything set up. They're taking the money in, issuing unit shares, of course. Unit price is going to be based on 10 Hex, so whatever that is. And of course, they'll be buying Hex and staking at 555, so never selling, only buying. And of course, 10 million is just their first target. And then, of course, I'm not sure whether they have further private targets or whether once they reach 10 million, they can again go to public listing on NASDAQ and places like that. And of course, then they can just go up and to the right, just like the Grayscale's got billions of dollars. They could just get more and more and more. And what other product in crypto, in terms of a unit trust on there, is going to compete with a 38% APY, and that doesn't include penalties. So it's going to be pretty impressive, folks, how that will perform. Of course, that's going to be smashed the index funds on the the markets like Nasdaq. They just won't be able to compete with that, especially in the future, because with what I expect to happen in the future, I definitely think they'll be able to compete. So yeah, hopefully that's cool. Then Brendan, they maybe get about 50 people or something is what they're targeting. 50 entities, I should say. Of course, that you have to be an accredited investor to get to actually invest in there. But yeah, that's kind of where it's sitting at the moment. Cool. Now, November last year, they did say they had access to $1 billion investment pipeline, as it were, with investment advisors. So if that's still true, that matches up, that they should be able to hit that 10 million target pretty fast. And of course, I don't know how we should probably see some of that happen. I think I worked it out that that's probably about, if they stake that 5 for 5, it's about 11 or 12,000 shares. So that's up with some of the big OGs, right? And of course, if they go up every $10 million, they go up. That's another, that's another basically 10 to 12 or 11 to 12,000 shares. They get about 4,000 shares, and then of course the effective multipliers are 200%. So it's kind of weird, but share price is going up all the time, right? So they're going to get less shares over the time. So they've got to get as much money in early. Certainly the beginning of the trust will start off really well. At the moment, of course, the price of Hex being around 11 cents, that's like a dream come true for these guys. These guys are so lucky that they launched a full Pulsechain, and they're launching all the markets at the bottom at 8% pullback. This is like a dream come true. Now they've just got to get the money in there, right? They've got to get the money in. And of course, they're only ever going to be buying and pushing it up to the right. So pretty exciting. T says, do you know if the first 2 days of ratio trading will be the one that's currently on the current V2 test ET front end, or will it be a totally different front end? I've never heard the question asked. Oh, I don't know the answer to that, T. Don't know the answer to that. Not completely clear for what you're saying there either. But if you're talking about Uniswap version 2, I guess that's what you mean. Then yeah, that'd probably be pretty similar. I don't imagine that's going to change a lot. Rainey says, "Is it just me, or does Hex Token's mic sound a little muffled today?" Oh, really? Oh, sorry. Let me just put the mic up there. Does that sound better? Testing 1, 2, 3, live here from Houston, Texas. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not in Houston, Texas, but there we are. Hopefully that sounds a bit better. Did you watch all of Johnny Chaos talk about the court case against CoinMarket? No, Brendan, I think that's the only thing I haven't watched, so I better watch that. That was at the Hexpo, right? I better watch that. I should. Brendan says at the Hex conference, he said, yeah, at the Hex conference, he said 200 billion lawsuit, and he said that he will divide the money to T shareholders if he wins. Stop it, Brendan. Stop it. That's too much FOMO. That's too much FOMO. Man, that is hilarious, Brendan. Really? Did he say that? Wow. Okay. I better go back and watch that section. That is pretty FOMO, man. That's pretty FOMO, crazy, awesome. Rainey says, yeah, better. Yeah. All I have to do is do a little announcement in there. Nice, nice. Roger, Roger. Is that Roger, Roger? Roger, Roger. That reminds me of the prequels of Star Wars or whatever it was. So, yeah. So let's talk Pulsechain price, Pulsechain price. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 1. Do the math on that. Let's do some math, folks. Let's do some math. We've got some good stuff here from Catherine. He said he would emergency instate the lawsuit Monday. Money. Oh, really? First time catching him live. Might be a difference between live quality and a VOD quality. Nice one. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? We're just a bit more laid back on today's one. It's more of an hangout chat here, watching the chat. We've got a nice little green candle here, almost a dragonfly. It's still a dragonfly, just got a little bit of the top there. Dragonfly doji is what I'm talking about. This is a long-legged doji, both are positive for the price as long as the green candle is following the next day. And of course, what are we on the hourly? How many days we got? We're on 16th. Many hours in this candle. Yeah, let me just pull up the ruler here. I'm so slow with this. Yeah, I think that's it. So let's do the candle there. So 21 hours. We've got 3 hours to go left in the stay candle, folks. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Green candle. And of course, the dragonfly would be very nice. And then, of course, it's probably looking more not like a dragonfly. It's probably going to end up being there's a third one. I just can't remember the name offhand by now. But definitely going to end up looking good regardless of the shape. Look at that, nice. Yeah, now we're just seeing nice green candle the following day. Get us back up to 12.6 cents. Nice, that'd be cool. Be even better if it was up at 13 cents. That'd be even better. 13 cents would be very nice indeed. The Hedron is breaked out. Of course, we're actually, why is it? I don't know why this is on a different chart, but it's already on. It's just on the hourly there. So I've got myself confused hourly. Look at this. Look, 24 hours, 30%, 11% on the 6 hourly. Nice one there. So if we go to 24 hour, we've got 6.1 million volume, 217 buys versus 204 sales. 6 hours, we got 262 buys, 50 sales. 1 hour, we got 40 buys, 8 sales. So obviously the volume is really what matters, but it's pretty cool to see that happen at the moment. So nice, looking very good. All right. Now see how we had this dragonfly in here, a dragonfly doji. Now we're getting a green candle above it. Very cool, very cool. Although it's a red one, but nevertheless, it's still kind of cool. All right. So Brendan says K4K spoke about it on his recap of the conference the other day as well. Okay, cool. Yeah, I actually didn't watch that part, so yeah, I did miss that part. I was going to watch it, but I just never got back to it. Brendan said if they fail to respond, that Johnny could take control of the website as well. It's true. Yeah, they got 1 month, right? 1 month to respond. So man, if he doesn't see it or take it seriously, man, oh man, that could be something again. Ryan says, do you think the incentive token will be constant sell pressure? If so, why? And if not, why not? So no, I don't. I actually think it's going to be super, super bullish. I think a lot of people do it are gonna. It's going to be pretty wanting to accumulate it. So I think it's going to be pretty good. It deflates. It's inflationary deflation, so it should be okay. Mm. All right, cool. We're going to have hundreds of thousands of yield farmers coming on. It's going to be insane, man. It's going to be insane how many yield farmers coming on. Especially some of the other chains are really struggling too. So with the yield farmers, they lose interest over there. So I think they're going to be sustained quite madly over at Pulsechain and Pulsex. Why would they ever want to leave? It's going to be like that. Once you take so much economic energy out of all the other chains, you got superior economics, deflationary. You just want to stay there for ages, right? Ages and ages and ages. But they've got to compete, right? They've got to compete with all the diamond hands, Mexicans, Polskins, that have really got the diamond hands. So, that's what I said. If you've pretty much all the people that are the early OGs that have sacrificed, they're the ones they're trying to get your tokens. They're after your tokens. So the only way the price is, really going to go down is if you guys are selling. And I'm not talking about you guys, but generally all the people that get them. So we know there's some people out there that will just go for the 2x or 3x and stuff like that, or whatever the pipe's going to be on the day. But yeah, it's a little bit funny phase, right? We've got ratio trading, maybe 1 or 2 days. Then we've got the bridge opening up, and if it all goes to time, all hit that timeline, then we've got the people being able to come in. That's not just they're not just all the yield farmers and all the ETH people that are getting on airdrops, but they've got to compete with all the Hexkins and Pulsekins that already know everything upside down. And of course, they're going to bring over their stables and try and buy more Pulse, try and buy more Pulsex themselves. So you can see what I mean. There's so much in the play. And then you think everything's all good. Then a month later, we've got liquid loans opening up. And of course, then you've got leverage borrowing coming into the place as well. So that's what I mean. That it's not going to just be, a big pump and then a pull down. And then maybe the price starts rising 6 to 8 weeks later. And in 4 months' time, 4 weeks' time, you've got liquid loan starts coming on. Then you could get massive leverage going through that, especially with some of the more aggressive whales that like to use leverage. Some whales don't like leverage; they just use the big asset movements. But if you're into using leverage, there's a pretty cool thing there. And of course, they'll want to pick up loan tokens, right, to offset the fees, so they could do that too. We've already seen the Hex God whale already done that, right? Already, it is sacrificed for the loan tokens. So we could reasonably see they're putting a lot of PLS inside collateral loans and lending off that. Maybe they won't do the lending because they haven't. I don't know their full track record with lending, but maybe they've just held the assets. We know that people talk about them having $3,500 of Ethereum in the Genesis wallet, and now it's worth 300-400 million. But then other people say that now Hex Gold Whale's worth about 2 billion all up if you track it all down. So who knows? It's going to be fascinating to see. Of course, getting big whales through liquid loans is going to be pretty good if you're holding loan tokens. So if you sacrifice for that, that could be very helpful with the payoff for sure. Terrapin says, "Well, I like your questions." And Jean Francois Bossu in the house. I'm the only one that has a sound problem. I know Rainy had a bit of a sound problem. So hopefully it's okay. Let me know if it's okay. I'm shouting into the thing. Catherine says, "Good night, fam. Gotta get up in 5 hours. Love you all, man. Keep your eyes open." Yeah, absolutely. Hey, we're coming up on 2 hours, so we're probably going to end in about 7 minutes, folks. But we're still hanging out here, watching this breakout on the Hedron price, and of course, the Hex price has got a bit of nice little retrace there, getting a bit of more solid support. Man, to man, we jumped off that 10 cent mark. Was getting a bit pricey, but definitely it was good. Brennan says, Jean, I can hear it to the mic is muffled. 1 minute, then another. It's not really. I'm not sure why that's happening, folks. And cheers, Catherine. Good night, mate. Brennan says, same problem here. Okay, good night, brother. Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's because I've done a lot of streaming on the computer today. Who knows? Very cool. All right, cool. There we are, folks. 4,300 on Hedron. Looking good there. Make sure that I've got everything up. Let me just check my studio. Make sure there's nothing silly on my studio. Maybe it's since I put the music on. That music. No music on there. Okay, let me just check the audio settings. Oh, mic, testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Test, test, test. Stereo audio. Echo cancellation must be off. Use stereo audio. Echo cancellation. Really? So do not turn off this unless you have a high quality microphone and are wearing headphones. This setting enables auto processing features like echo cancellation, noise suppression, and auto gain control. Okay. A little bit obvious. Cool. Stereo audio. This is often used by musicians with a stereo audio mic. Okay. Cool. We'll just leave it as it is. All right. Rainy says, I think it's because you have a mic that is directionally sensitive. So if you are not facing it and watching your screen, it sounds a bit muffled. I see. Okay. Well, I am speaking towards the mic's apparently just about this angle behind me. So hopefully it's okay. It started happening after the music now that you mentioned it. Actually, yeah. So maybe the music, I put that on. Maybe it's having a little issues with that. So just won't put the music on in the future. We learn our lesson. We learn our lesson and then we improve and grow until we're grown up. Until we're grown up. All right, cool. Hey, let me know in the chat if you. I like. I don't know if you've heard of Slayman or Slayman and Kate. Like this couple that do all these pranks on each other. If you haven't checked it out, it's pretty hilarious. Check it out, Slayman or Slayman and Kate. Yeah, check it out. Funny as what they do. Can't believe they do. I can't believe they've managed to stay together after 6 years with the amount of pranks that they put on each other. They're an Australian couple, but they're very, very funny. Let me know in the chat if you've heard of them. But it's very quality, right? It's very quality, but they're taking some things. It's pretty crazy. Anyway, that's a bit of side humor, 4,300 on the Hedron, and we're looking good on the Hex price, 11.08 cents. So, yeah, nice. And of course, if we can get up to the next 24 hours, get up to 12.5 cents or so, that's going to be looking good. And if we can get up to like 13 cents, that'd be even better. That'd take us up to about here. That would be pretty nice. I'm expecting to see some more green candles in here, to be honest. I'll probably get somebody that's going to take a bit of bite in here. I guess people might be looking at the price rally, but then I think this is looking pretty positive. So, especially if it keeps bouncing off this angle here, that'd be very, very cool. Once again, this is our new long-term candle. That's the key one, right? Breaks down below that, you've got to get a bit worried. Take them into account. If it breaks down below that candle there, you'd have to be concerned. That's pretty much what we had before. Scroll down there. Pretty much what we had here. We had our long-term rally from up here, and it broke down through there. Then we're in the downtrend, right? So more times than often, it starts the downtrend once it breaks down that long-term. There more times than often, not always, but more times. And of course, that's exactly what we got down there. Bounced off to 61.8 of 3,100, and then bounced up here to 4,300. Which was about a 40% gain in a 24-hour period. So not bad. Not bad at all. Brendan says, I'm going to see Elena and Woodley in April at a live show. Oh, I don't know who that is, but I'll try and that. Tony Chang says, hey, gang. For those that have been DCAing around the lows, are you keeping them liquid or staking 5. Well, you can definitely get a 5 for 5. Rainy says you should look into getting a Shure SM7B, a great mic, although you need an audio interface. A little expensive, but well worth the money. Love your content. Hey, this is a new iMac, and it's got a studio mic built in, and it does do the job most of the time. So I just think it's because I added the music in, probably done something with the phasing or something, who knows, with the mic. So it should be okay most of the time. I probably should get a Shure mic, as you say, in the future. I'll definitely keep that on my radar, as it were. I actually want to change my studio setup, so I want to actually probably move to a standing setup. So that will I'll probably do the Shure mic at that stage. And we'll see how we go. So far, so good though. Nice. All right, 4,300 on Hedron and 11.08 on Hex on the daily. This is the daily chart. And this is the hourly on Hedron. Looking good. We're coming up on 2 hours, folks. So we're going to wrap it up shortly. But let's have a quick look. This was the awesome news today. And man, oh man, it's certainly helped the charts, hasn't it? And let's see what it does over the next 24 hours. Average takes a little bit more time to spread through the community. And of course, the testnet version 2B in a couple of days. The Pulsechain working, Amian bot run on Uni version 2, and Sushi and Stack Dancer as well. Looking positive. Gwei's been pretty attractive too. That helps trading as well with the prices on Hedron and Hex with the swap around about $8-9. Very nice. Rack and Michelle, of course, is onboarding other wealthy people in the Pulsechain and Pulsex and stuff like that. And there's many other wealthy people doing similar things. So big shout out to Rackham. And of course, it's very exciting to see. And man, and we get the chains, up big value in hundreds of millions. Rackham and stuff like that are going to help us do that, that's for sure. Very, very cool. And of course, that's where we're at. So nice. Coming up in 2 minutes. 2 hours, I should say. Smog says, epic bear market screens, brother. It will be fun to reflect on them during the all-time high. I like it, Smog. I like it where you're listening. Brennan said it's an improvement from the racehorse announcement. Mike says, hey, Brennan, you cheeky. Yeah, the racehorse, Mike. That's this one. They're talking about this one here. Your PC, Mike. Apparently, this was like a racehorse. Around the facts there. That's the way we go. All right, so thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the bell, of course, all those good things. And hit the like button. We have bam. All right, so post that. There we are. All right, if you want to hit the emojis on the way out, if you're a Hex Token channel member, get into gold for that, and we're going to place that. We have bam, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 emojis already. They're really cool. Now, if you want to get these emojis, become a channel member. We've got Pulsechain, Hexskins, and Rich Heart Club. Get into it, folks. I will catch you all tomorrow. That's going to be a lot of fun for sure. And congratulations for you who made the mad gains on the Hedron. 4,300 is the Hedron price. Woohoo! And the Hex has just gone up too. We're now at 11.15 cents. Nice way. Green candles during the Hex Token live show. That's how we roll. And a breakout on Hedron. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right. Bye for now. Let us say thank you, says T. Thanks, Dick Man, says Brennan. You're most welcome. Take care. Bye for now.